Hey there, I'm Jack Barnwell. I'm a landscape architect in the state of Michigan. I own a landscape contracting company up on beautiful Mackinac Island, Michigan, and I also own a company in Naples, Florida, doing beautiful garden work. And that's where I am now, down here at C3 Gardens. This is our shop here in Naples, Florida. Through all of that and working on a lot of different properties for a lot of diverse clientele, one thing that I've learned for sure across the board that everybody loves beautiful containers to finish their properties out right and to really enhance their spaces around the patios and pools, or even just a small simple front porch. So through a lot of trials and a lot of hard work and research and development, we developed a self-watering system into beautiful ceramic pots. And in partnership with proven winners and Michael Carr Designs, we are so proud to now have these gorgeous pots available nationwide. These absolutely stunning containers are distributed throughout the country. They'll be available at garden centers throughout this spring. But I thought I'd take a moment to show you through exactly what an AquaPot is, how they're put together, and how you can plant them up to have as much success with them as my crew and I have. So I've got some gorgeous plant material here. I'm going to literally plant up this pot live with you right now and show you through how they work. So every AquaPot, like I said, they are beautiful ceramic containers. This one in particular is what a color called Ultramarine. And every AquaPot comes with these very simple components. So we have the disc, the soil tube, and the fill tube. These components, there's no screws or glues or anything involved to putting an AquaPot together. You just simply screw the disc right onto the soil tube like that. And this goes into the pot and rests on this rim that's integrated right into the planter. That rim is molded right in the process, in the factory when these pots are created. And you'll also notice that there's no drainage whatsoever in the bottom of the pot. The drainage is way up here on the side, just under that rim. That allows for the space between the disc and the bottom of the planter to be fertilizer-infused water. And from the disc on up is our soil reservoir. So how it works, once you put your fill tube in this little slot here, that AquaPot is set up and ready to go. Once I fill this up with soil, the soil is going to go all the way down into that soil tube. And all the soil that's down into that soil tube is surrounded by that fertilizer-infused water. So the water can get into that soil, wick up through that column, and sub-irrigate all of those plants. So the plants can sense that that's there. They'll send some roots right down to it right away. They'll have everything they need 24/7 to really, really thrive. So I'm going to plant this one up here for you. Got some beautiful potting soil here from proven winners. Again, like I said, filling up an AquaPot is quite simple. You just let that soil go right down into the soil tube. And I'm kind of tamping it down a little bit as I go, just to make sure there's no big air pockets or anything like that. Once the soil tube is filled up, I can dump a little more freely. Make sure that pot is getting filled right up. And I know what plants I'm gonna put in here, so I'm gonna fill that up to, about 3 inches or so from the top. So this AquaPot is now ready to go. It's that simple. You don't see any of those components or anything once the planter is filled up, and especially planted up. But knowing that it's an AquaPot, you'll know you always have that port to fill up the water reservoir. So this guy, like I said, is ready to plant. I'm going to start with this beautiful Caladium. This one is called Scarlet Flame. You get a lot of beautiful color out of these. These Caladiums are a new introduction from proven winners. Really, really excited about them. They work quite well in the shade and the sun for a lot of great foliage color, and that's going to get pretty good size in the back of this container here. I'm going to put a Diamond Frost Euphorbia right next to it. Another plant I really love. tucking that right in. And I know that those roots are going to sense that fertilizer infused water coming up from below, and they'll quickly release and go right down into it. Also back here next to that Caladium, I've got a little, just a simple Boston Fern available at really any garden center anywhere, just a small little 6-inch Boston Fern. I'm going to tuck that in right next to that Caladium there for a little foliage, a little nice texture in the back. And then kind of spilling out the front corner, I'm going to do this beautiful violet Ice Superbena. Love the way that blue contrasts with that Caladium. This is really coming together nicely. And then I want to put a little wild coral color. This is Rockapulco orange. It's a double impatient. And these, believe it or not, can handle a lot more sun than you think. So I'll spill that thing right out the front there. And this container, just like that, is ready to go. That was a very, very simple combination. And again, in this AquaPot, I know it's going to thrive. Next, all we have to do is water it in, and I'll show you through that process, and this baby's going to be ready to go. Okay, so now we're ready to water this AquaPot in, and for the first time, before I fill up the tank, I'm going to put a little bit of slow release fertilizer right in that reservoir. So believe it or not, this slow release fertilizer, it's a granular, and it will slow release underwater, turning that entire water reservoir into this fertilizer infused water. Now, when I fill up the tank, those granules will slow release underwater just a little bit, and as it wicks up through the soil, those plants will sense that and they'll be in plant heaven. So first, before so though, you want to soak that soil in and just make sure that you're really, really soaking all of the soil all the way down before filling up the tank. And that really, really helps to make sure that the plants are well settled in, you've worked out any big, air voids or pockets or anything like that, and to ensure that that soil siphoning system is working properly. Then once I've soaked it in really well, I'm just going to fill up the tank. Now a container of this size does hold quite a bit of water, so this can take some time, but knowing that all the water I'm putting in the tank is not being wasted makes me feel pretty good inside. Normally, if this were a regular pot and I was watering it with a hose, you'd see half of the water coming out the bottom. And if you're dragging a hose around all day watering a bunch of pots, half of your work is wasted. So not only is there some great water savings, but the time savings is tremendous. A planter like this is going to last at least a week, if not 2, between waterings anywhere in the country. And as soon as it's done, it just spits out a teeny bit of water there. I saw it bubble out just a little bit. I can wipe that up a little bit with a rag, and no water is wasted, and this planter is ready to go. It's going to be wicking up that fertilizer-infused water, and these plants are going to absolutely thrive. In fact, all the AquaPots that my crew and I plant, either down here in Florida or up in Michigan, we guarantee 100% of everything we put in an AquaPot because they do so incredibly well. I know you're going to love your AquaPots. Thanks so much for watching, and please do post and share with us what you've come up with, because we'd love to see what you do with your new AquaPots.